Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special online event today. It's called Discover the Power of Your Clock Genes to Cultivate Radiant Health. Learn Ayurvedic secrets of chronobiology to sleep better, prevent disease, and live longer. My name is Stephen Dine. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I'm always delighted to be here, getting to learn right alongside with you, particularly about an ancient wisdom science that's very important for humanity now. It's really called Ayurveda, and it's really about a holistic approach to our well-being. And we're going to get to explore how this can impact our health in multiple ways, and sleep and our ability to prevent disease, with a pioneer in this field. His name is Dr. Suhas Kshirsagar. He's a renowned Ayurvedic physician, author, and educator. And Dr. Suhas, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you, Stephen. So happy to be here with you.
Great. Well, I want to let everyone know up front, we're going to have this deep dive with Dr. Suhas, and we're also going to have an opportunity to go much further in a brand new program. It's called Harness the Power of Your Clock Genes, and we'll get to share about that towards the end of the hour. So if you want to go further, there's more to come. So, Dr. Suhas, let's begin a little bit of our journey here today with something about your journey and what really led you to devote your life to the science of Ayurveda.
Well, that's a great question. And I'm sure that you have traveled to India several times and you're familiar with the Vedic culture. So I was born and raised in a traditional Vedic Brahmin family, and in a very traditional setting about learning Vedas, Sanskrit, Vedic literature. I did my formal schooling and decided to continue my medical training, which was an integrative course about Ayurveda and Western medicine together in a very prestigious university in the western part of India called Pune University. And I did my bachelor's of Ayurvedic medicines. I did my master's and MD in Ayurvedic internal medicine. And I had started my practice. My wife is also an Ayurvedic physician, and we had started our clinical practice in India when one fine day I received a call from His Holiness Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, who was the founder of the Transcendental Meditation Group. He was based out of Holland and invited me and my wife both to come and join and work for his organization and travel around the globe, talking about Ayurveda, yoga, lifestyle medicine, personalized medicine, creating a blend of Eastern and Western medicine, training physicians, doctors, starting schools, building curriculums, starting Ayurvedic clinics around the globe. And we literally lived out of suitcases, traveled in 39 different countries, raised our kids together, and here we are. It's as if a dharma, a mission, a purpose that started to propagate these Vedic sciences at the backdrop of the Western world where we were living, and compare notes that what is described in the classical literature and what we are learning with the modern medicine and with the latest science. Mm-hmm. And this has become a little mission for my book writing, for my clinical practice, is looking at the ancient secrets of Ayurveda and comparing them, how it is being validated by modern science. And finally, we landed up here in Santa Cruz, California, where we have a beautiful Ayurvedic wellness clinic, a Panchakarma center, with myself, my wife, and our son, who happens to be an Ayurvedic doctor also, is a family practice, literally, that we do here in Santa Cruz, California.
Well, it's remarkable what a role you've played as being an emissary for this ancient science. And what I love about Ayurveda is that it starts from a very holistic standpoint. In many ways, Western medicine has gradually become a little more holistic and integrative, but it's been a slow process, whereas Ayurveda really starts from a kind of whole being, whole system, energy and biology perspective.
And it's very interesting you say that, because the word itself, Ayurveda, simply means science of life. It's how you live is what decides whether you create health or disease. And that's the very premise of Ayurvedic medicine. So I like to call it as the original lifestyle medicine. So our modern medicine took a little detour in finding molecules and another molecules to counterbalance that with drug discovery and not paying attention to our mind, emotions, spirituality. And we are painfully realizing that we took a complete wrong turn. And now we know that about 70-80% of the diseases that we have that are killing people and becoming fatal are all lifestyle diseases. And that's why the science of Ayurveda is becoming more and more relevant in this modern day and age.
Mm. I completely agree with that assessment. So maybe you could go a little bit deeper into the sort of the philosophy of how you work in Ayurveda. So it's not as focused on just treating symptoms of diseases. You're really working upstream from that. And maybe share first a little bit about that before we dive into chronobiology.
As I said, and it's a great question, Stephen. As I said, that Ayurveda is truly a lifestyle medicine, but more importantly, it's a personalized medicine because everybody is different. Ayurveda looks at the individual with their mind body type, is who they are, what their early upbringing is, how it shaped their thinking, behavior, actions, what do they do on a daily basis, how they have created certain imbalances in the physiological functioning, and understanding their whole life and the whole personality, we create a program which is based on diet, lifestyle, detoxification, effective stress management, understanding their innate body type and trends, and correcting or designing a program which is absolutely suitable for them. And this is almost all education based. It's as if you're introducing that person to themselves so that they start learning, understanding, empowering this information, and transforming their lives. So it is not a disease based treatment where I meet many people casually and they ask me that, Dr. Suhas, what do you have for Parkinson's? What do you have for migraines? And it's very difficult to answer because it's not a disease centered focus. It's what person has what disease, and the whole program is totally based upon that, whether we use herbs, herbal formulations, dietary interventions, spices, herbal teas, jams, elixirs, variety of different things, and so many things. It creates a multi-modality treatment.
Hmm.
And when we create that things, the person is learning, understanding, making connections, and living this way and creating a cellular experience, a visceral experience, how good they feel when they follow a plan like this. And once you motivate them, then your job becomes rather easy because you don't want them to keep on coming back to you with the same problems. You treat them, teach them so that they can go out and transform their life. And I guess that is the mission statement of Shift Network also. It's about healing, balancing, and transforming. And that's what Ayurveda and Ayurvedic sessions do to people. And I have been practicing Ayurveda for over 32 years now in different corners of the world itself. And I have noticed there's hardly any difference. The human mentality is more or less same wherever you go. And the more you teach and educate and allow them to actually look at the bigger picture of life, how to cultivate work that nurtures them, that makes them happy and productive, cultivate relationships that are fulfilling, looking or developing a spiritual outlook towards life, to every problem, to every area of life. And once you do that, you see that the human growth and potential, and that is, we may look at this as a very lofty aim for any medical science. The mission statement of Ayurveda, and you won't believe that, Stephen, the mission statement of Ayurveda is Ayurvedo Amritanam, Ayurveda for immortality. So it's as if that you are introducing them and giving them a glimpse of the reality in which they slowly start elevating to higher states of consciousness, from where your job becomes very easy. Once they get to that higher vibratory level, the challenges of unhappiness, disease creating factors, unhealthy habits, addictions slowly fade away. And you get a higher taste of life and you start pulsating, vibrating at that level where you start motivating and feeling good, not only yourself, but you influence all your friends and families and your communities and create healthy nations ultimately.
You're quite a deep philosopher as well as a physician as well. So I really appreciate your orientation here. And it might be helpful for people in the spirit of the individualized medicine to have at least a little brief overview of doshas and how different people are made up of different types, so that that helps understand like how you individualize treatments.
Well, the whole universe is made up of five basic elements. They are space, air, fire, water, and earth. And in Ayurvedic terminology, we divide these elements that for the doshic understanding that the combination of air and space create a dosha that we call it as vata. The combination of fire and water creates a dosha which is called as pitta. And the combination of water and earth creates a dosha called as kapha. So when we say vata, which is a combination of space and air, pitta, combination of fire and water, kapha, combination of water and earth, this is not just the physiological understanding, but they create your body as well as your mind. So to give you an example, like Vata people who are under predominant influence of space and air, they are a little bit lean and thin and wiry people. They have difficulty gaining weight. They have tendency toward dryness. By nature, they're very vivacious, very enterprising people like butterflies. They have shorter span, attention span, focus, concentrations, very colorful, but they have lower energy reserves and things. And those people have to be very, very cautious and careful in regulating their routine and doing the right thing at the right time, because a little imbalance can make you a little bit more toxic and tired very easily. So they are a little delicate personality. Pitta, which is a combination of fire and water together, this creates more heat governed personality. These Pitta people are medium built, flushed, muscular, but they are having a lot of sharpness in their physiology. Their digestion is sharp. Their behavior is a little bit more sharp to the point that they're very articulate speaker. They tend to get grumpy and irritable when under pressure as such. They burn things very quickly. They are more pro-inflammatory type. So their body can get very acidic. And if they eat some hot and spicy food, a lot of caffeine, alcohol, those kind of things, then they get really, really heated and create a lot of pitta-related imbalance. Could be heartburn, inflammation, hyperacidity, ulcers. So they have to deacidify their system. They have to minimize those unhealthy addictions and make sure that they are cooling down, because pitta is a hot dosha, you have to cool it down. Vata is a cold dosha, and you have to bring the heat. Unlike kapha, which is water and earth, these people are a little bit more heavy set. Big, hefty people, which have good height, good big structures, big bones, muscles, tendons, ligament. By nature, they are big people, but they are very easygoing and flexible people in terms of their mind. They are happy-go-lucky kind of people, but they tend to be on a little lazier side. They get a little bit more heavy, they get lazy, they sleep more, they become a little bit more inactive, and they create more stagnation, fluid retention, dullness, coldness, dampness in their physiology, which can lead to diseases, which is overweight, obesity, type 2 diabetes, growths in the physiology. So they have to keep them stimulated. You have to bring them qualities of dryness and heat so that they can burn things more easily, they can sweat more easily, they can stay active. So once you understand a person and their body type as well as mind type, you can create a program and help them understand that these are the most important things that you need to follow. And the funny thing is that in a family, there could be people with few vata type, few kapha type, few pitta type, and you will have to really understand and know things about yourself. So first is being self-referral to understand who you are. Second is self-care and management. What we are talking here is about how to take care of yourself, because that is your full-time job. Is that right? Taking good care of yourself is your full-time job. And we actually took a detour again on that path where we thought that we'll create some big, heavy health maintenance organization. And whenever you're sick, you go to these people and they'll take care of you. And we are not there yet. It's a very inadequate model. The real adequate model is knowledge, education, empowerment, and transformation, is to teach them who you are and what kind of things affect you when you do something right or when you don't do something right. And making those connections, and that's how you stimulate their interest for what we call it as mindful living. And I think that is what Ayurveda is. That is what the premise of Ayurveda is. Like we talk about yoga and Ayurveda as a sister science. Is that right? So you go to a yoga class and You walk out of your yoga class, you're walking tall, you're feeling light, you're feeling relaxed. And what will it take you for you to go back and do another yoga class? The same experience that you feel. If I feel good, I should be going back and doing things which makes me feel good. If something makes me yucky, bloated, gassy, toxic, and tired, it should motivate me not to do that. And I think Ayurveda works in that fine line, which allows you to be really self-inspired, self-motivated, and slowly getting away from what we call it as dull, inertia, dark, shadowy part of your choice making towards moving into light.
Hmm.
And living up to light, which we call it as sattva. And those are the things that we'll be talking in the upcoming classes and courses, where we'll be giving these real pearls of wisdom. They may think that they were described thousands of years ago, but they are so practical, so relevant for daily living, and it's so easy to embrace them and use them for your day-to-day living, I would say.
Hmm. Beautiful overview, and really gives us a sense for the larger context of this work. So let's now focus in on the chronobiology and the clock genes and how this sort of synchronizing with rhythms of life and seasons is really central to health and radiant long-term longevity as well.
Well, I think chronobiology, chrono means time, and biology means our biological functioning. So how time affects our physiology. And it's a new science, but Ayurveda has been talking about this for ages together. We all know that sun is the giver of health and life. Sun makes life possible on planet Earth. And as the planet Earth is spinning on its own orbit and moving at a dizzying speed around the sun, day and night are created. 24-hour cycle of the circadian rhythm is created. The seasons are created just because of that movement. And whether you like it or not, your entire physiology, from a single cellular organism to trillions of cells that we are living, we are all affected by that circadian rhythm. So I think Ayurvedic sages knew this way, way earlier. That's why we created the invocation of Gayatri Mantra. We talk about sun salutations. We talk about moon salutations. We talk about worshipping these bodies of light and darkness, which allow us to structure routine, which allow us to synchronize our physiological activities with what is happening outside your window. The change of season, what do you need to do? Morning routine, what you should be doing, afternoon routine, nightly routine. So the ideal daily routine, what we call it as dinacharya, your daily routine, will simply decide how effectively what you are doing and what your body is doing is all perfectly synchronized. And when they are not synchronized, that's when the desynchronization that happens. That's when the circadian disruptions happen. And that is, nowadays, we know with the latest science, is one of the main reasons for many chronic diseases.
Makes a lot of sense. So let's talk about how this affects the gene expression, the clock genes.
Well, I think the time, as we say, is embedded in our genes. And there are these genetic timers that reside very deep at a cellular level, almost at a genetic level. And it's very interesting when we look at it from a modern medicine perspective, is as soon as you wake up and the light falls onto your retina, on your eyes, the light travels and creates a signal to an area in your hypothalamus, in your brain, an area called a suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN. And it is the shape of a rice grain, that tiny area, that tells the whole body that it's daylight. And better, all the cells and genes wake up and start your daytime activity. So that signal is the signal of light. And there could be a signal of darkness in the evening when the sun goes down. When it's pitch dark, it tells the body what it should be doing. So what we're talking about is, as soon as the light falls there during the day, there was a Nobel Prize that was awarded to 3 American physiologists in 2017 for the discovery of the clock genes. So they identified this gene called a spirit gene, which creates period protein, which goes to the cell and the DNA, which circulates and keeps on accumulating during the day. And there's another gene that comes up called as double time, which reduces the load and the accumulation of that protein and clears everything. So it's as if during the day it is carrying out certain activities in the light. In the night, it is carrying out certain other activities. And every signal is signaling body temperature, sleep, digestion, thirst, hunger, millions of functions. And they are all dependent upon you, even without not knowing about what is happening outside your window. It is all happening where your cells are in perfect communication with Mother Nature, with the sunlight, and they're carrying out this orchestra which is happening. And your job is to simply align what you're doing at the same time what the genes are trying to activate. So this genetic activity that the body is trying to do along with the circadian rhythms, if there is a disruption, then the cycles get longer, or there is a disruption, these cycles get shorter. And all of this can create blood sugar fluctuation, blood pressure fluctuations, imbalances of release of certain important digestive enzymes or hormones, and it can affect so many functions in the physiology. That's what we are realizing. I wrote a book on this topic called as Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life, because the busy schedules were affecting people. It's as if our life has gotten so busy that we forget to program what is going on or what our physiological signals are. We are constantly busy with emails, voice messages, texting, social media. It's a cycle of are you online or offline? And that busyness starts disrupting what the body is trying to do. You're working late in the night, you're eating at irregular times, you're sleeping at irregular times, your energy levels are constantly affected with large amount of caffeine intake that you're doing. You don't have any personal me time left. And I think, trust me, in my clinical practice, number one complaint that I hear from my patients is, I don't have time for myself. And when you're sacrificing individual busyness versus happiness, then you're slowly compromising things. We are becoming very sedentary. We are becoming very inactive. We are becoming very stressed because of the pressure of the time. And this is the whole purpose, how your schedules is literally killing you without you even knowing about it.
Wow. I mean, it's really illuminating just how serious that can be to not have those synchronized daily schedules. Well, can you bring in the seasonal element too, since that's somewhat more unique, I think, to Ayurveda, and we haven't really, I think, done much in the West around synchronizing ourselves with seasonal rhythms.
Well, it's absolutely important because every season brings out certain qualities. Is that right? So we are currently in summer, so the weather is really warm and it's hot. And you go to the farmer's market and you see these citrus, colorful, juicy fruits that are in abundance. Is that right? That's what Mother Nature wants you to eat in order to counterbalance the heat, the pitta imbalance that it can create. So if you're paying attention, the seasons produce different foods what are suitable for you for that season. If you're shopping in the farmer's market, then you are in sync with what Mother Nature wants you to do at that given time. That's just one example. If you're shopping in a supermarket, you can get practically any food from any part of the world without even knowing. In the pitch winter, you're eating mangoes, melons, and stuff like that, where you should not be because it's not produced naturally at that time. So food and nutrition, what you should be doing for a given season is one aspect of it. Second is how you counterbalance that heat. So like in the summer heat, everything gets really, really hot, flush, things like that. So unhealthy exposure to midday sunlight should be avoided. You should be eating food that are rich and watery and cooling in nature. You should be doing certain things in terms of allowing the body not to get overheated during this time. So the herbs, the herbal teas that you're drinking, the preparation, the cleansing, because even the cleansing is a big science in Ayurveda, that when to cleanse and what kind of cleanse to be done at what time of the year. There are 4 dates in the calendar, Stephen. One is the spring equinox, fall equinox, summer solstice, and winter solstice. If you look at these 4 dates, few days before and few days after, if you embark on a cleanse, then you prepare yourself for the next 3 months to face that season. Say from summer you go to fall, and fall suddenly it becomes very windy and cold, and that cold windy nature with the accumulated heat in the summer, with that dryness, the body gets very dry, and you want to eat something which is warm, soupy, unctuous, little bit more oily and fatty. So that's why you make pumpkin soup, you make squashes, you create root vegetables and warm them up and things like that. So the whole science of seasonal routine is how you take care of your physical body, your massages, your daily seasonal routine, your abhyanga, putting drops in the nose, what kind of exercise you should be doing in what time of what season of the year. That's also described. And especially certain body types will create imbalances in certain seasons more likely during the year. And those change of seasons, if you nip it in the bud, the accumulation and the aggravation of the doshas could be minimized so that you are easily and effortlessly ready for the next season itself. So I think creating an ideal daily routine, creating an awareness to the seasonal routine. And I think it's very recently that we see that people have rituals for solstice or rituals for equinox, where we are going out and spending time in nature so that we can feel the energy, the nature is shifting gear, and how you can align what you're doing with at that time of the day. Interestingly speaking, almost all the festivals in the world around the globe are based upon what Mother Nature is doing. Is that right? Every festival is based upon that. It's according to the lunar calendar. They tell you exactly what kind of food you should be offering for gods and goddesses, and eating, sharing with the family at different times of the year. And they are all perfectly synchronized with that. But we have kind of forgotten those real festivals which are happening. We are more busy with those man-made dates that we get occupied, which is more like a shopping time in the malls, shopping different things at a given time. I jokingly tell that we have almost forgotten about seasons. We look at only the sports calendar, that this is the basketball time, this is the baseball time, this is the football time. That's how people know the seasons, basically.
Well, and to make that really explicit, it makes sense that just synchronizing with the Earth's rhythms and what's happening in nature just feels like we're more supported by nature. But how does that actually then affect things like longevity?
Well, because everything is hinged onto longevity. Because when your circadian rhythms are desynchronized, then your nutrient sensing goes down. You're not eating the food, digesting food, and absorbing nutrients. Your inflammation goes up because your system, the srotas, the channels of energy flow are blocked and create a lot of stagnation and stagnant inflammatory puddles in the body. The third thing that happens very commonly, which affects longevity, is your patterns of effective stress management. And there are seasonal patterns that happens due to the season change that affects your mind and mood and emotions. We all know this term called as seasonal affective disorders. Is that right? So due to lack of sunlight, people have suicidal ideation, they feel depressive thoughts and things like that. So there's a reason why we want it to be more community time, family time, coming together, eating together when it's a little bit more dark outside, because it creates a community support and family support. So everything that we are doing throughout the day is either we are allowing our body to feel strong, healthy, active. One of the key components in Ayurveda is that everything is moving, everything is shifting and scattering in your physiology all day long. Okay, there's never a dull moment. It's changing all the time. And when it is changing, your job is to align what you're doing with what is changing and shifting. Even the phases of life, even the stages of life, even the stages of digestion, even the cycles of day and night, everything is moving and shifting. So having that mindful awareness, because longevity is one of the key components of Ayurvedic medicine. It's not about the wrinkles on the skin. It's all about maintaining the clarity of your sensory organs, taking care of your sense organs 24/7 all your life. That's one important component. Secondly, how you regulate your mind and emotions to keep your mind active and engaged so that you can function. And the third component of longevity that we nowadays are understanding is what are the key components that you will learn in order to do that? How can you stay active? How can you eat the right kind of food at the right time, digest them, get enough balance between rest and activity throughout the day? So I think we are painfully realizing this. It's not a magical potion or a magical vitamin of any kind, but it's how you live is exactly how you live longer. And every new science that is coming out is simply validating that what people are doing and how they are living and the choices that they are making, how upbeat, optimistic they are in their mindset, how spiritual outlook they have, so that they are more resilient in how they function. And these are all core components of Ayurvedic teaching. That's why it is, I like to call Ayurveda as one of the most ancient, but one of the most comprehensive system of healthcare, which understand the life in totality and create a structure where you're not enhancing the quantity of life, but you're constantly prolonging and enhancing the quality of life, which is so important.
Hmm. So important. I wonder if you can share a little bit more about the three, what you call the three pillars of health.
Well, I think diet, sleep, and exercise. And we were talking about chronobiology, and we were talking about the impact of time. So these three activities are the cues that the body gives. There was an interesting research, and not to make a fun of anyone, but there was an interesting research that came out that most of the Americans reached for a snack, in fact, when they were thirsty.
Hmm.
So we are becoming so disconnected that we can't even differentiate between thirst and hunger. So when you are not paying attention to your bodily rhythm, it can happen like this. So diet is a cue that it's like a wave, it's like an urge that peaks up. So if you train yourself that around 12:30 is my lunchtime, then it's an urge that peaks up. And you want to meet that wave at that time when it peaks up, so that it gobbles the food and the right nutrition and digests it properly. But some days you're eating late breakfast at 10 o'clock. Sometimes you have an early brunch at 11. Sometimes you don't eat at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Sometimes you skip lunch and have an early dinner. All the variation is going to throw that urge and the natural rhythm of diet completely off balance. And on top of that, a lot of variation, sometimes Indian, sometimes Italian, sometimes Chinese, sometimes Thai, all the variations and the quality and the quantity shifts. It creates a lot of imbalance in what you are taking at what time of the day. It's not what you eat, when you eat. So diet is an important pillar of health, but it's not about counting calories and looking at the nutrient blocks only. It's all about the timing when you eat so that you're meeting the peak wave. The same with sleep. Is that right? Many times around 8:39, you start yawning and feeling sleepy, and you look at the clock and say, gosh, it's just 8:30, and who wants to sleep at 8:30 in the night? And then you don't pay attention to, you get busy with your late night show, and then keep opening your refrigerator door several times to grab something to eat. And by the time you go and sleep, it's past midnight, and then you can't sleep because you are in the peak time of the activity that the body is trying to do. And then you disrupt that rhythm, and then you wake up late in the morning, and then it creates a cascade of imbalance. So sleep is a signal, diet is a signal, and exercise, it's such an important component that Ayurveda talks about, which resets these modalities of diet and sleep. If you get good exercise on a daily basis, again, the science of exercise is not what exercise you do, but when you exercise. And that when is so important because it says that if you can get about 20 minutes of brisk cardiovascular exercise every morning before you eat anything, before breakfast, it prevents all causes of mortality by about 41%. It's a
Wow,
phenomenal research.
that's
Phenomenal
amazing. I actually hadn't
research.
heard that research.
Yeah. So it is so important that Ayurveda talks about you wake up and expose yourselves to sun. Go for a morning walk. Look at the sun. Many times traditionally you say the Gayatri mantra, you do the worshipping of the sun, you offer water to the god, sun god, or things like that. They look that as some kind of a religious activity, but it's very physiological, very medical and medicinal in many ways. So you, as soon as you expose yourselves to sunlight in the morning, and that too with physical exercise, all the cells and tissues open up. And there was a research that came out, those people who are active for about 15-20 minutes early in the morning before breakfast, they are more likely to be active throughout the day. That morning awakening of the cells and tissues makes you active all day long, needing less caffeine and needing less stimulation of any kind. So exercise should make you pleasantly tired at the right time in the evening for you to fall asleep and stay asleep. And if you get a good night's sleep, that resets your emphasis on waking up early and eating the right food at the right time. When I was researching for my book, Stephen, I wrote a book called as The Hot Belly Diet. It was all about the importance of Agni and Ama. And when I was researching about the book, I used a tagline in my book was eat late to gain some weight, sleep late to gain some weight. And if you are eating late and sleeping late, then you are doomed. Nothing can help you to lose weight because it's from an Ayurvedic perspective, there's a beautiful analogy that they give. It's like a blooming lotus. Our body, our heart, our physiology is like a blooming lotus that opens during the sunlight and it shuts down after the sunset. So when everything is shut down, your digestive, metabolic function, heart rate, respiratory rate, metabolic rate, everything is slowing down. And then you put a truckload of food at that time, the food simply stays undigested in your system for all night that you were sleeping. And then you wake up feeling dull, heavy, groggy, congested. You'll need your 1 or 2 cups of caffeine to get going, and then it resets everything. Because of that caffeine, you're not hungry at the right time. It creates peaks and valleys, crashes energy, all of that. So these pillars of diet, sleep, and exercise, if you learn how to do them and how to time those activities properly, that's the part of the course that we are talking about, is going to help a lot of people to really pay attention to that. And once this information gets synced, because what I love about Shift is we give them the information and the tools, but those information and the tools soon become habits. How you live, how you think, how you behave, how you act. And once that habit is created, then it's transformation. Then it's no coming back to your good old self. You have transformed it and changed and taken a giant stride and leap towards improving almost every area of your life. Because it's how you feel is exactly what kind of life you manifest.
Super inspiring, and really it is all about making those changes that really transform our life from the ground up. So I also know you want to spend a little time on some practices that people can take away that go beyond just the chronobiology, and looking at mantra and breath practices and how that can really enhance our lives as well. Do you want to set that up and then lead us in an exercise?
Well, I would definitely do that. It's more of a self-referral activity that I want all of us to do together. I do it myself frequently and regularly, and it's more like checking in with yourself. So the first and the most important thing is get a comfortable seat somewhere and keep your spine erect and make sure that there are hardly any distractions that is happening in your room, your cell phones, televisions, anything that is going on in the room. Minimal distraction to a certain extent that allows you towards your inward journey. And start with gently closing your eyes and taking 3 deep, powerful breaths. Just breathe in, hold it inside just for a few seconds before you breathe out. Everything goes in out through the nose only. Okay, so breathe in, just hold it inside for a few seconds and breathe out through the nose. This helps you stop everything that you're doing. It's as if your whole attention is sucked inside, aligning your mind with your breath as the air is going in and out of your nostrils. At the same time, observe how you feel in your body. Pay attention to almost every area of body in a step-by-step manner, as if you're doing a quick body scan. Toes, ankles, legs, knees, your thighs, your low back, hips, lower spine, mid back, upper back, neck, shoulders, hands, wrist, fingers, elbow, shoulders, neck, your face, eyes, ears, nose, your scalp, back of your head. As you're scanning your body one by one while you are breathing in and breathing out, pay attention to any tightness, any blockage, any discomfort that you're experiencing anywhere. You don't have to worry about it, think about it, do anything. Just linger your attention in that area for just a little bit and move away. You're energizing that area just with your intention. Take a couple of deep, nice breaths, just breathing in and breathing out. And now I lead you on an exercise to look at your day, your everyday, what you're doing. I want you to pay attention to, in a graphic manner, as if you're still lying in your bed and you're barely opening your eyes, waking up to start your day. See yourself, watch yourself from a distance. Where are you at that time? Who is with you? Who is sleeping next to you? What do you see as soon as you open your eyes in your bedroom? Even before getting out of the bed, what are the initial thoughts that cross your mind? What makes you spring and jump out of the bed? What is the first thing that you do? I hope it is not looking at your cell phone. But see, what is the habit that you have? And how good are you feeling when you wake up? Are you leaving your bed happily, reluctantly, or you just can't wait to get started with your day? How easily you can empty your bowels. You can effectively eliminate whatever is accumulated in the system without strain, without any pressure. Your morning routine, brushing your teeth, oil pulling, scraping your tongue. What is going on in your mind? Are you rushing through those activities? Do you take time? Do you pay attention? Do you touch and feel your teeth and gums? Do you look at your tongue? Do you even look at your morning poo? Look at it as your morning progress report card, how well you have done from your intake to what is coming out. What do you do thereafter? Do you shower immediately? Do you go out? Do you exercise? Do you go out for a walk? Or is it just the morning pressure of this routine that makes you go and grab a cup of coffee, eat something on the go, and start driving? Do you have time to meditate? Do you have time to go out on your lanai, deck, window, balcony, whatever it is, to get some fresh air, prana? Feel the air that is going in. Look at the tender sunlight. Look at the morning mist. Look at the morning sunlight. Feel that going in through your eyes, through your skin, awakening the entire system. How good you feel. It's a very spiritual time of the day. How comfortable you feel, how productive you feel. You have time to meditate, to sit down, to close your eyes, not feel rushed. If you end up in preparing, fixing a nice breakfast for yourself, or your loved one is preparing one, can you pay attention to that, what you're eating, and why are you eating it? Is it just the habit of eating the same food at the same time because of convenience? Do you pay attention to the nutrients, the colors, the shape, the size? How alive that food is, how vibrant that food is, how good that quantity is, and whether you have time to sit and enjoy that little breakfast that you're eating. And as you start your day, whether it's a commute, as you rush through the morning traffic, what are you doing? What are you thinking as you're driving? Are you rushing through the crazy traffic? You're peacefully driving. You're listening to something that is uplifting, that is not too intellectual, but just allows you to feel more quiet, calm, centered, as if it's a morning routine for you to synchronize what you like to listen, to create vibrations in your physiology that energizes you, doesn't increase the pace of your mind and life, but helps you slow down and breathe and relax. As you start your work day, how productive do you feel? Do you really enjoy what you do? Do you feel as if you're using your skill sets that is bringing the best out of you? Whether you receive appreciation for the work that you do? Do you feel as if with your attitude, how you work with your team, with the people that you enjoy the interaction, you feel uplifted, and you feel as if you're doing the best?
Hmm.
I hope you have the right time to sit down and get a decent lunch where it doesn't feel rushed. It is more or less around the same time, paying attention to the color, shape, sizes, nutrients, the quality of the food that is filled with the prana, mana, vibrancy, vitality, and whether you are able to enjoy that meal without feeling overly heavy, dull, or tired. Whether it doesn't make you feel sleepy and sluggish, but gives you the energy to continue what you're supposed to do. You continue to work, you slowly conclude your day. And again, in a mindful way, you're heading back, you're driving back, you're slowing down. You're re-engaging into a physical activity at that time when the cardiovascular efficiency is at its peak. Whether you go for an evening walk or you select or choose a sport that you love and enjoy, go to gym, whatever activity that you think that makes you active and spend more time outdoors and enjoy the fading sunlight. And as the sunlight is fading around the sunset, can you again regroup yourself as from dawn to dusk? These are very spiritual times. You curl back, gently close your eyes, meditate, be mindful. Few minutes. Pay attention to what the dinner is going to be for you. What are you going to eat? How you're going to digest? Making sure the quality and the quantity of that meal is much lighter than that of lunch. And it is at least 2 to 3 hours before you go to sleep. After dinner, what do? What kind of entertaining ideas that you have? You have time to go for a short stroll or a walk postprandial after dinner, whether you are happily married, a family person with kids, your duties as a provider, as a father or mother. What are the ideas of entertainment that are uplifting? They're not toxic, violent, but slowly inspiring you. Whether you can slow down at least an hour or so before you go to sleep and not expose yourselves to any blue light, television, cell phone, computers, work, at least 1 hour. Ideally, we want you to be asleep around 10, 10:30. And you see in your day, are you retiring at that time? Are you paying attention to the last thing that you're doing before you go to sleep? Whether you're taking a warm shower, a bath, cracking a book open, reading something. And then as you turn off the light, practice a little recapitulation for your entire day. Just now, as I said, capture that in a few minutes in front of your eyes. Express some degree of gratitude to who you are and what this day has given you. And slowly prepare yourself for a very purposeful, meaningful sleep, exactly aligning yourself with what Mother Nature is trying to do, so that you fall asleep and you wake asleep energized. As we all know, a good day begins the night before. So what we just now did was looking at our own routine, that how we live. It can be different during the week. It can be different over a weekend. It could be different when you travel. But ideally, you are responsible for the architecture of your day that is really purposeful and bestowing health and not creating a lot of variation and disruption to everything what the body is trying to do. Think about what we just now did, what we said, what we learned, and ask yourself 3 simple questions. What did I do to take care of my body today? Did I eat good foods? Did I exercise? What did I do for my mind today? How did I use my mind today? How many times I laughed? How many times I did something which was making someone happy? How often I was appreciative of anyone else? How mindful I was to my urges, to my desires, to my bodily activities? And what did I do for my spirit today? Did I ever get a chance to sit down, to slow down, to reflect, to meditate, to align my consciousness with what is pervading around me? Did I get a little spiritual reflection different times of the day? Was I spiritually awake enough so that I was not getting affected with the things as they were happening, but trying to diffuse them, buffer them, filter them as I'm taking the experience in so that I don't ingest the experience as it is? Am I being self-referential enough to do that? As you look at the day, as you look at your routine every day, am I becoming more empowered to make the choices and slowly influence everything that is happening in my body and learning to live in accordance with the laws of nature? Take a nice deep breath and gently open your eyes. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Dr. Suhas. What a beautiful, just comprehensive cycling of like reorienting our whole life in a meditative state to these deeper cycles of health and well-being. And what a revolution this is to really reorient ourselves to those natural cycles and activate the parts of ourselves that are in harmony with our physical being, the natural world, and our energy patterns of doshas. Really such beautiful, beautiful work. Well, I want to spend some time now talking about how people can go deeper and really study with you and apply these principles in a really systematic way to create a really vibrant lifestyle. So we're really blessed that Dr. Suhas has agreed to teach a brand new program for Shift. It's called Harness the Power of Your Clock Genes, Ayurvedic Secrets of Chronobiology to Sleep Better, Prevent Disease, and Live Longer. And it's going to be a comprehensive dive into different dimensions of how to reorient your life pattern in this way that's very holistic and life affirming and health producing, and to really build those habits and patterns over the course of 7 weeks. So you'll find the program laid out in detail at the URL clockgenescourse.com, clockgenescourse.com. It's a 7-week program, and each module builds on the last. And so, Dr. Suhas, I'd love for you to share a little bit about your intentions for the outcomes of the program, and then I'll read out the module titles so you give us a preview of what's coming in each.
Well, I think the very premise of this program is to be mindful of your everyday schedule, how you live, how you think, what are the choices that you're making, and how you simply align your circadian rhythms with the cosmic rhythms of Mother Nature. And doing those activities related with diet, sleep, exercise, and many other functions that we'll be describing in the course in order to optimize your health, longevity, vitality, and more importantly, evolving to a greater state of consciousness and awareness that allows you to feel more vibrant and more effective in how you can help everyone else around you. Because at the end of the day, you should not be feeling a little bit more individual and isolated, but as we all evolve, we become a part of this bigger collective consciousness. And as you learn and empower yourself, you're learning these tips and tools, which will allow you to stay motivated to be more healthy, vibrant, and energetic, I would say.
Great. So module 1 is called Sync Your Schedule to Cultivate Whole Body Wellness.
It's all about how the busy schedules is affecting your physiology, what it is doing to your physiology, and more importantly, the busyness, how it is disrupting the basic rhythms of the physiology. And we try to look at the latest research that is coming out that tells us that this busyness and the deadlines, the work pressure, and what you're doing, you wake up thinking about work, you go to sleep thinking about work, and how it is disrupting those things. So the first module is all about helping you understand that how our schedules is dictating our physiology. And then we will learn how to change some of those things with mindful interventions.
Module 2, harmonize your daily habits to amplify your health.
Because exactly what you do on a daily basis, how you cultivate habit, is what is so important. There are two words in Ayurveda that we use. One is called as Shreyas and Prayas. Prayas is something which is liked by the senses, but may not be good for you. And Shreyas is something which is not liked by the senses, but ultimately it is good for you. So how can you make choices that are not only sensorial driven, but something that you are learning and slowly embracing so that it becomes a way of living? It's not someone forcing you to do that, but it's an effortless way of adopting these things and making it as a conscious routine for yourself. And this module specifically talks about the timings of everything, what you do in terms of food, diet, nutrition, exercise, meditation, interoceptive awareness, and how you make it a part of your daily living.
Great stuff. Module 3 then goes into harness the power of sleep to supercharge your vitality.
Well, sleep is one of the most potent anti-inflammatory activity that you will ever do. And earlier we used to talk about when you have nothing else to do, what you do is sleep. But now we have realized that during sleep, we carry out millions and millions of activities that are regulating our immune system, regulating our lipid synthesis, and so forth and so on. That scheduling your sleep and optimizing your sleep has one of the biggest and the most enormous impact on your health. If sleep would have been a drug, it would have been $1 trillion drug, I would say.
I love that. Module 4, align with the natural flow of the seasons to thrive all year round.
And that is so important because I think aligning with the season, aligning with changing your dietary pattern, changing your behavioral pattern, exercise pattern with the change of season, what you do, where you live, and how the seasons affect you, what kind of cleanses to do with the change of seasons, what kind of routines and practices that you do around that time, what are the things that you should be doing in terms of aligning those rhythms of the cycles of day and night, because every season has different cycles of night and darkness that affect you. And knowing that and adopting and making that change is what the seasonal routines are all about. And that's the whole module. We'll be talking about those tools that you can easily learn and practice.
Module 5, time your meals to support your body's needs.
I think diet is so important because diet is something from an Ayurvedic perspective, it's not only food, what you take. Diet is something that you take in from any field of perception, from any mode of intellect, that is diet. So technically speaking, what you eat, what you smell, what you see, what you ingest, everything goes in. So I think paying attention to every experience that becomes a part of your body, paying attention to that diet, eating the right foods at the right time, which are more God-made and made by Mother Nature, that are filled with prana, mana, chi, which are vital forces of the nature, so that your body is filled with that energy. You're not eating foods which are dead, putrid, and leftover that makes you feel that way. So paying attention to the right foods at the right time. And more importantly, the Ayurvedic concept is not what you eat, what you digest. How to optimize your digestion will be the more thing we'll be discussing in this module.
Module 6, optimize your workouts to boost your results.
Exercise. I think one of the things that we talk about, and earlier we were talking about calorie restrictions, eating the right food at the right time, fasting in between the meals, time restricted eating. So eating the right foods during the sunlight, is that right? When the lotus is open, you eat. When it's shut down, you don't. So the time restricted eating, intermittent fasting, reduction of the calorie intake after certain time of the evening is so important. And that's what we'll be talking about it. And more importantly, when you exercise, it's the energy that you give and the physical exercise that you do together will decide how long and how healthy and happy you're going to live. Exercise dispels depression. You release endorphins when you're exercising. You lift your moods. It makes you feel vital and energetic and more optimistic and more resilient. And so if you look at all the benefits that a daily structured exercise that you do, and how do you rotate that? Different chronotypes will have different exercise. So learning all of that in this module is what we are going to describe and discuss.
And finally, module 7, tailor your diet to your unique body type to nurture your body with the right foods and routines.
Well, we are going to conclude all of these things together. So we are going to look at chronobiology, we are going to look at Ayurveda, we are going to look at diet, sleep, exercise, and we are going to create a very purposeful, meaningful, structured daily routine and seasonal routine that you learn that this is what things that I should be doing. And especially given to your mind body type, given to your chronotype, you align certain things, what you should be doing, adopting what kind of qualities. All of those things we are going to summarize and create a routine that is going to really empower you to feel absolutely happy and help you live longer and a happier life. And more importantly, uh, it's the science of enlightened living. That's what Ayurveda is. It's about learning few things, adopting those, practicing those things, slowly changing it, transforming it so good so that you don't go back to some of the good old bad habits that you might have, and adopting things which program your brain and mind so that you start really enjoying it and loving it, and it becomes a part of how you think and influence every experience that comes in your life simply because of how you feel.
I love it. Well, this program clearly goes far beyond just the clock genes. Even though we're focusing on that, it's really about a comprehensive upleveling of our whole way of being and to live a radiant and enlightened life. Really beautiful offering here, Dr. Suhas. So I'll share a little bit more about it. So again, all the details at clockgenescourse.com. You get not only the 7 90-minute live sessions with Dr. Suhas that we just explored, you're going to be able to ask your questions live. You'll get recordings of every session, both video and audio. You also get word-for-word transcripts that allow you to go back and study and really incorporate these insights in your daily life. There's weekly exercises and practices for home. There's a Facebook community to create community and connection with others in the program, as well as small group time to connect with other participants. And on the page, you'll see a couple of extra bonuses to enhance your journey that are really valuable. There's an ebook from Dr. Suhas called Khichdi Recipe Ebook. You want to share anything about the Khichdi Recipe Ebook?
Well, I think it's a very simple one-pot meal, which is a very cornerstone for Ayurvedic nutrition, which contains everything, right kind of protein, carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, fiber, vitamins, nutrients, the right kind of fat. So together, that food gives you all the building blocks, but also is excellent and easy on your digestion. So we have a recipe book of different variations and versions of khichdi that you can eat. And it's a great food to have, especially in the evening when you want to have a lighter meal that is easily digestible, but still gives you everything that you need.
That's great. And in addition, there's a special bonus that folks get when you sign up by midnight tonight. And this one's very valuable. This is actually a personalized Ayurvedic consultation. It's a $150 value. It's a 15-minute phone or Zoom Ayurvedic consultation with one of the physicians that Dr. Suhas has personally trained. And you want to share a little bit more about the value of that 15-minute Ayurvedic consultation?
Well, I think the first thing that you will learn and understand about your mind-body type, which is a very helpful clue to really design a program that is suitable for you. And there could be some challenges that you might be feeling with your sleep or exercising or rest or digestion that we can troubleshoot, because it should not be a block. And that's what I believe. Clinically, when I educate something to someone, they get stuck with one thing. Oh, I have this problem with sleep, so I can't follow this program. Oh, I have this problem with my food, that's why I can't follow this. So we troubleshoot those so that you are able to really adopt these things without getting stuck somewhere. And that's the whole purpose of these sessions.
Well, what a really great extra reason to sign up right away to get that personalized
It's a
consultation.
phenomenal value, because when you talk to someone, you feel inspired. You feel inspired. It's more so than just information that is much more personalized for you. And that's what makes people really participate in their well-being. So when you go to an HMO care, it's more of a generalized recommendation for anyone and everyone. But when it comes to a personalized training, teaching, education, and hand-holding that makes a lot of difference.
Mm. Well, it's an amazing value, this whole program, and the potential impacts on everybody's lifestyle, well-being, longevity are enormous. And so we've kept the investment very accessible for this. It's just 3 payments of $128. So you save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The course is going to start August 12th and run Mondays at 11 Pacific or 2 Eastern. Even if you can't make those live times, though, you can still get the full value with the recordings, the transcripts, and the community as well. And on the page, you'll see a number of extra testimonials about Dr. Suhas. I mean, Deepak Chopra says, gives us insight into the Ayurvedic wisdom regarding healthy daily routine and gives practical tips on aligning ourselves. So, great endorsement from the preeminent writer, thinker in the space. There's a lot of other great testimonials about people's benefits in their lives. And so you're really in great hands, and you're going to learn some very valuable things to up-level your lifestyle, and which really ultimately impacts your happiness and well-being and how you show up in the world. So you are in for a treat if you choose to move forward. And again, all the details are at clockgenescourse.com, clockgenescourse.com. And you get that 15-minute individual consultation if you sign up by midnight tonight. So, Dr. Suhas, a really great hour. You're just a fountain of profound wisdom. Anything that's still on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering going into the full program with you?
I think you will learn a lot about yourself, about what makes you keep on doing certain things in certain way. Um, the premise of my book, Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life, is how you change your schedule and how it changes your life. Because timing and correcting certain things, we all have to work, we all have to do different things at different times. We do have to travel, but that mindful awareness of doing the right things at the right time and slowly ingraining them and synchronizing and training our circadian rhythm with the cosmic rhythms, living in accordance with what is happening outside the window, leading a natural life. And it's very difficult in my clinical practice. People lead a very unnatural life, and they want to find a natural solution for their unnatural living, which is not always possible. So as you start creating that structure, you will feel that you are much more happy, more relaxed, more productive. And that's the benefit. When the body feels good, the mind feels good, you feel more productive. The course is really very simple, and it carries the gist, the very essence of Ayurvedic wisdom of thousands of years. And it's so practical and easy to use that not only you will feel good, but you would want to share with all your friends and families, because you would want them to participate. You would want them to be excited about learning something which is not just bookish information, but so practical that simply can change the trajectory of how they feel, how they look, and more importantly, what they can manifest.
Hmm. Well, really great stuff, Dr. Suhas. You're super inspiring. I love the holistic philosophy that you're offering. So thank you for partnering with us on this upcoming program. I know people are going to be really blessed who choose to move forward. And again, it's called Harness the Power of Your Clock Genes, Ayurvedic Secrets of Chronobiology to Sleep Better, Prevent Disease, and Live Longer. And it's all at clockgenescourse.com. So thank you so much, Dr. Suhas, and thank you all for joining. See many of you in the program.